Hello friends, and welcome to Creative Cooking. Let's get married, shall we? No, we're going to take 2 chicken breasts, we're going to cut them lengthwise into fillets and season them with some salt and pepper. Then prepare a frying medium. In this particular case, I'm using olive oil and butter, my favorite combination for sauteing anything, or even frying for that matter. Okay, so we're just going to heat that up and then dredge the chicken in flour. Now, some recipes may not call for dredging. That's fine. I think that when you dredge in flour, you do a couple of things. One, you help to brown it. Secondly, you're doing something called creating a roux. You may not realize it at the time, but some of that flour is going to stay inside the fat and will eventually turn into a thin roux that will help us to thicken the sauce as we proceed through this recipe. So, by all means, dredge if you want to. It'll take about 3 minutes per side to cook the chicken. You just want to flip them when they're brown. And also bear in mind that the chicken may not be completely cooked in the center, but that's okay. That's going to be a secondary cook that we do as we progress through the recipes, so don't worry about it. Remove your chicken to a plate. If you have to do it in 2 batches like I did, that's fine. Now you see that roux at the bottom of the pan? We definitely want that, but we don't want to burn it. So you got to move quick. Put in your garlic. That's about 3 cloves of garlic that have been minced. All right. And then right behind that is our sun-dried tomato that's packed in oil. I cut it in small pieces because I really don't want to bite into a big chunk of sun-dried tomato. We'll give that a quick saute just to get the flavors started. And then immediately we're going to deglaze with some chicken broth. Right there, chicken broth, right. And we're going to mix that all up. That was hot chicken broth, so it went to a boil as soon as it hit the pan. All right, and then we're going to add some wine. That's about 4 ounces of white wine. If you don't want to use white wine, just add a little more chicken broth. Then we'll season that with a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay, depends on you. And we'll reduce that by half. Once it's reduced, you add in some tomato paste, about a tablespoon, and that's going to do a few things for us. It's going to help thicken the sauce, it's going to add some color, some flavor, but more importantly, it's going to help to add some acidity to this, which will give this sauce a tangy flavor. Then add in some heavy cream, 1 cup to be exact. Do not try to substitute with half and half, it won't work. You need to use the heavy cream. Or as they say across the pond, double cream. Then we'll season with some pepper flakes, thyme, and oregano. I'm keeping this very simple. I mean, you could add some of these 1/8 teaspoons of this and that, but it would just get lost in there. There's so much flavor. You don't need anything else. Don't let anybody tell you different. Believe me, this is a very tasty sauce. And here comes the second cooking. Once that cream comes back to a simmer, put your chicken back in, okay? And you'll notice now that I can get all 4 pieces in that skillet at once, and that's because the chicken will shrink and pull into itself, reducing the overall circumference of each piece, so to speak. Now cover it, let it cook for 2 to 3 minutes, just to make sure that your chicken is cooked, and at that point, you turn off the heat, because we're going to add the final ingredient, which is Parmesan cheese. And I firmly believe that you shouldn't cook Parmesan cheese. You want to melt it. And that's why you turn the heat off, you mix it in. It's going to get nice and creamy, but it's not going to get stringy. Even Parmesan cheese will turn stringy. So just mix it in, move your chicken around, let that cheese melt, and that sauce is done. You may want to check for seasoning, maybe salt and pepper, but it's very flavorful the way it is, and believe me when I tell you, it didn't need anything else. It came out perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now you're ready to serve. So let me show you what I do. I'm serving it with rice. I've taken the small bowl, I'll coat it with some butter. Okay, that's to make it non-stick, because we're going to use it as a mold. And what I have here is a batch of my perfect every time rice. All right, except it doesn't have the shallots in it. It's just the buttered rice. It's cooked to perfection. It's not sticky, but it'll still hold its shape when we put it in this mold. All you really have to do is just pack it down pretty good. Okay, it's gonna form itself to that. And then to get it into the plate, you got to invert the plate. All right, you don't want to spill it. You want it to form a mold. So you lift straight up, and there you go, just like they do in the finer restaurants out there. Then put some sauce over the top, but try not to completely obscure the rice. You want people to know that they're eating this with rice. So instead, put some sauce around the perimeter of that dome. That way there you have plenty of sauce for the chicken and for the rice. The rice is going to pick up that sauce, and that's the reason why I didn't have to put onions or anything in the rice. And there you have it. Clean up your plate and serve. It's delicious, and I hope you give it a try. And I hope you come back each week for more great videos made for people who like to cook. Until then, ciao.